The 2022 Disc Golf Pro Tour season has been over for quite some time now, and this last week on Twitter I asked everybody, who disappointed you most from last season? And today we're going to go over some of their answers. The truth of it is, a lot of these were built off of high expectations. We're going to go through the top 3 answers that came up from this question. Kevin Jones, Kona Panis, and James Conrad. And we're going to break down how bad their seasons actually were. We all know Kevin Jones, and he's a pretty streaky putter. He gets the nickname Jump Putt Jones from his Circle 2 putts, and the big ones he's made year in and year out. Unfortunately, in 2022, that was a part of his game that struggled. What's interesting about Kevin Jones is this last season, he actually had more podium finishes than 2021. Now, he had less top 10s, less top 20s. His average finish dropped. But as we can see with Simon Lizotte, sometimes winning is all that matters. Simon Lizotte had a pretty poor average finish for the tour, especially when you take into account he had 4 wins, whereas Kevin Jones actually had a better average finish than Simon Lizotte without getting a win this year. That just proves to you how good of a disc golfer Kevin Jones is. It's just funny how people's view on him and how big winning is on tour, that he had a disappointing season. Now, his play did digress. Statistically, he decreased in the majority of areas. You can look at his UDisc stats here, and you can see a lot of them got worse. But the truth is, he was still finishing as a top 20 pro for the majority of the season. And like I said, had more podium wins. Had more podiums than 2021. I think this year showed, and Kevin Jones is the perfect example of this, that more and more wins is what's going to matter the most. Being a perennial top 15 guy, unfortunately, if you don't win, it's not going to pay dividends nearly as much. Everybody thinks wins matter most, which, truthfully, I mean, you're out there to win, so it makes sense. Now, moving into the most noted name on the FPO side, Kona Panis. And this one is glaringly obvious. She got a big contract. She came in out of 2021, had a great season, and everybody expected the big contract, the big money. She was going to come out and play. She did not. She did come out and play. She just didn't play well. And it shows in all of her stats. Every single category, she got worse. And let me clarify that. She got worse compared to the field. 2021 and 2022, she finished with a 70% fairway percentage and a 7% park percentage, both seasons. But in terms of where that sat within the field, it dropped her from, in 2021, 6th and 12th, down to 15th and 23rd. The big issue with Kona Panis this season isn't that she played worse. It's the fact that everybody else got better. And right now, in the growing sport of disc golf, if you're not getting better, you're going to get pushed out. She absolutely had a down year in terms of placement and growth. 2023, she can come out and do the exact same thing, and if she plays her game and doesn't improve, she will continue to fall down the leaderboards. Now moving on to Mr. James Conrad, 2021 world champion. I have no clue how people could be disappointed in James Conrad's season, except for one singular point. And I addressed it with Kevin Jones. Winning. Didn't have a single podium finish. He only had 4 top 10s. He improved in most statistical categories. Better fairway, better parked percentage, better C1 in regulation, C2 in regulation. His putting got slightly worse, but overall, he did almost identical to 2021. Average placement, 2021, 16th, 2022, 17th. There's just more talent at the top. And unfortunately, James Conrad wasn't able to push through and get a podium finish this year. Now, the question is, does he have that fight? Does he have that competitive spirit to go out there and practice more, play more, and get to a point where he is day 3, day 4, pushing for that final lead card, chasing down the leaders, making those shots that he needs to win an event. We saw it at Worlds. He can do it. 2022, again, he didn't win, and therefore it was a disappointment here. Now, I don't make this video to throw shade on these players. They're far better than I am. But in the world of sports, there are going to be expectations put on players. Now, I hope these 3 players have a great 2023. I've been a fan of Kona for a long time. She was actually one of the first disc golfers that I found out of because she doodled on the back of her discs, and I used to do doodles on merch and different things like that. And so I actually found her before I started playing disc golf. And so Kevin Jones used to be a football player, big football fan. James Conrad, my best friend, is one of his biggest fans. And so these 3 actually hold a spot in my heart, and I really hope that they can come back in 2023 and bounce back and prove everybody that they are out there to win and compete, and they have an amazing season. But in 2022, according to my followers on Twitter, they were the 3 most disappointing players.